So Glenda, we've got the transmission out of the Honda, and this is what it looks like when it is all apart. If you remember the first video, we had material in the cooling system for it. If you look at this screen, this is inside the valve body. There's two of them, they should both look the same. The second one has been sucked inside out, so clutch material has gone in here, plugged it up, and then the oil pressure has gone and turned this thing inside out. Inside the transmission is a filter right here. There's also an external one. The media inside there is also going to be restricted as well. The solenoids themselves have screens, and there's also, like this one here is restricted, that's gone everywhere. That material is causing all kinds of grief inside the transmission. It'll stick things and plug up orifices, so the transmission's not going to like that at all. When we look at the clutches, this set of clutches, a little bit of discoloration on the frictions, the steels look okay, so not a lot of slippage there. Same situation on this clutch. This clutch here is a darker lining, so it'll look differently, but really same situation, there wasn't any slippage there. There's a set of clutches over here, little discoloration. See how dark that clutch is in comparison to that one, so there's a little bit of slippage in this clutch pack. This one here though is damaged severely, so this friction material has rubbed all the way off. These two clutches really are the same clutch. They're supposed to both look exactly the same, but the lining is gone, so now this has been rubbing steel on steel. That's going to create a lot of metal. Another thing that happened, this set of this drum here, these clutches go into this drum, and it's damaged, superheated. The spring, it's all deformed. That spring has been sitting there turning on there. It's not supposed to. And the same thing has happened on this retainer. This has been spinning, and obviously all those pieces are damaged, going to have to be replaced as well. There is a one-way clutch inside the transmission. This piece here sits on there, and the one-way clutch allows this hub to turn one way but lock the other. So when I turn it like this, you can see I can't turn it that way. It's going to turn this piece. There is wear on the race right here, so part of the metal is worn off, the hardening is worn through. It's quite common, and the peanut-shaped elements that are in here, these things here, these elements are worn, so if we don't address that, there's sure to be a problem with that down the road, so we're going to have to address that. We also have in the case, there are bearings, there's shafts to stick through here. The bearings support the shaft, but what's happening is, if you look at this surface here, you can see how I can move this bearing back and forth, and you may even hear it. You can hear the little click there. So the bore that this sits in is now, this bearing here has been spinning like on the outside edge and has worn the bore larger than it was designed to be. So now that shaft is not going to actually be held stationary like it should. So this bearing here, we got the same situation. It's going to be a situation with the mileage causes that. It's quite common on Hondas. This bearing here I can't move, so this is what the bearing should look like, where I can't actually move it back and forth like that, but this bearing and this bearing both have movement. That's going to have to be addressed so that we don't have any noise issues down the road. So Eric is going to contact you with some estimates, and we'll just go from there. Thanks.